Hello guys, it's good to see that a huge number of participants turn up here, even on Sunday. Like, how many are sleepy after having biryani in the lunch? Please do message in chat box. And how many are ready to dive into Python today? If you are really sleepy, then just think of your fat and result after it will go away. Because you're going to write 100 marks paper, that too 100% syllabus. Okay, everyone are ready to learn. Good to see that. Ready for some Python? Good, good. Okay. These are topics that we are going to cover today. Seems to be simple, one-word topics, but they're actually not very simple because today's topics are indeed complex. Because these topics going to help you not only in your first year, but also throughout your BTech. Because these topics will be repeated whenever you are learning DSA or you are doing some work in ML or AI, or maybe your design and analytical algorithms and everything. So be careful, be attentive, and feel free to ask questions. Okay, yesterday you learned like data types. Can you name some data types or just basic data structures that you learned yesterday? Come on, quick. Lists, okay, sets, dictionaries, tuples. Good, good. The basic data types like string, integer, float, are you people aware of those things? Yes. Okay. Usually, whenever your faculty or yesterday's instructor, they're told about something called changeable or mutable or immutable. Usually, when your faculty explains about strings, he says that strings are immutable. And when yesterday, your instructor said that lists are changeable. Mutable is nothing but changeable. Immutable is nothing but unchangeable. Okay, I'll use them interchangeably. So, what they really mean by mutable and immutable? Uh, cannot be whenever I create a list, I can change it. That's what they mean. But whenever I create a string, I cannot change it. Can we really not change a string, or we usually do it? Okay, we'll check. First, we'll go with the definitions. Mutable, the data types that can be changed after creation. Simple definition, which is saying that a data type that can be changed after creation. Suppose I'm creating a variable a, which is equals to list of 1, 2, 3. Now I'm changing it to list of 1 to 5. I'm happily changing it without any problem. So I'm calling it as mutable. So please focus on the examples that are given here. List, sets, dictionaries. Okay. Now let's see immutables. The data types that cannot be changed after creation. What are the examples given here? Strings, integer, floats, etc. Okay, think. Can we really can't change these data types? Strings, integer, floats. Answer in the chat box fast. Come on, come on. I'm getting no messages in chat box. Are you people already sleepy? No, no. Do you mean like we can change strings, integers, floats, etc.? Okay, we'll check. See here, we are creating a variable a, which is saying that I am learning Python. Yes. And there is again, I'm changing it a to I change the string. I'm printing a. And this is the output that I'm getting, which is here, which is saying I changed the string. But from the previous definition, it says that strings are immutable. How come this happened? Like definition is saying that strings are immutables, and here I'm changing the string. How did that happen? Think. See guys, in this course, you'll not only learn how to code or how to just learn syntax. You have to learn how to think, how to build logic, and how to break down the complex things. Sure, we will be helping you how to do that. So let's take this example. I'll try using some code. Let's assign a value to x. Let's create a variable x. Venkata Sai Pavan. We'll see that whether your answer is correct or wrong. And now I'm creating a variable y which says whatever the value of x, I want that, which means y is equals to x. Now what does it mean? We are assigning the value 5 to the variable x, and now whatever is the value of x, we are assigning it to the y. That's what written. X equal to 5, y is equal to x. Now I don't want x to no more be as 5, I want it to be 7. Okay, now if I say print x, what will it print? Come on guys, 7, good, let's print and see. Yes, as you expected, the answer is 7. Now if I say I want to print y, what will be my answer? 5, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 5, 5, 7. Okay. So people who are saying 5, why is it 5? And people who are saying it's 7, why is it 7? Let's see. The answer is 5. The people who said 5, tap your back. Okay, the answer is 5. Then see, what did I do first? First, I assigned 5 value to x, and whatever is the x value, I'm assigning it to y. But when I changed x, it did not affect the value of y. Why did this happen? So it happens to be like, first I'm assigning 5 value to x. Then I'm assigning x value to 5. But it doesn't mean that this value will be attached to this 5. It means it will create another object whose value is also 5. They both are having connected to the same valued object, but not to the same object. So whenever I change this, it simply changed it to 7, but it did not change the below value, which is 5. It's not because of sequencing. It's simply because even integers are immutables. They cannot be muted. Okay, the x first it was 5, then I changed it to 7. It did not affect my y value because my y is pointing towards some other value which is similar to x, which was similar to x. Okay, hope I'm clear by this one. If I'm clear, please say yes, thumbs up or something. Your screen is not visible, really. Ajay, can you please confirm
No,
whether my screen is visible?
no. It is visible. Once try to join again. Check your internet connection as well.
Okay, you're asking that for the student to do that.
Yeah, student, not you. It is visible, guys.
Okay. Boss, you're asking me to explain again. Fine. First, what we have done is I'm assigning x value to 5. Now x is equal to 5. Next, when I'm creating variable y, I'm saying that whatever is the value of x, that you have to give it to the y. So by default, the value of y will be 5. Next, I am updating the value of x as 7. So even after updating the x value, my y value will not change because integers are immutables. Okay, they point differently. They are not jointly pointing towards one value. They point differently to the different values. They can be same or different. That doesn't matter. Am I clear? Now let's see some different example. Assume that we are creating a string now. A is equals to, I'm learning Python. Okay, let's do that. A is equal to, I'm learning Python. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do is print A. We'll see whether, see. So now we have created a variable A which says I'm learning Python. And now we are printing it. So we created a variable which got memory of I'm learning Python. Now we want to change I, which is here, to M. So how will we do that? So can we, you know the indexing values, right? Like the first one starts 0, 1, 2. These are the indexes of the string. So now I'm saying A, that A is 0. I want to change it to which value? M. So let's see what will be the output. It gives me an error. What is the error? Please read it. String object does not support item assignment. It means that A cannot, like in string A, we cannot assign some value from outside. Like I cannot change this part of the string alone. So this way strings are immutable. But what usually we do when we want to change a string, we do this thing. A is equal to I'm learning Python. A is equal to I change the string. Here what happens is, first when I said A, I'm learning Python, it creates a memory, I'm learning Python. But next when I'm saying that I changed the string, the computer inside, it will delete this memory and assign a new value to the A. Means whenever I'm doing this, I'm creating a new variable or a new object. I'm not carrying or changing this one. This one no more exists. I'm creating a new A which says I changed the string. It doesn't mean that I'm doing any changes in this part. I'm creating a new A which says that I changed the string. But computer has to print only one A, so it will take the new input. It will leave the old one. So in strings we cannot change the already present one. Now let's talk about the list, which usually are said that they are mutable. Let's assume we are creating a list. L1 is equal to, how do we create a list? Syntax. One, we put a square bracket and write the elements inside it. I'm taking few odd numbers and now I'm saying L2 is equals to L1. Now what am I doing? First I created a list L1, which is saying that L1 has elements of 1, 3, 5, 7. I'm creating another list L2, which is nothing but L1. So now what I want to do is I want to update L1. How do I update it? Suppose I want to update the second index element to 4. Now I want to print L1. Will I be able to do that? Sir, can you explain lambda functions? First, let me complete the concepts of data types, then we'll go to functions. And do you people really have lambda functions? Okay, we'll look into it, don't worry. So what happened here? 1, 3, 4, 7. The value which had 5, it is been changed to 4 because L1, in L1 we updated the second position. 0th position we are having 1, in first position we are having 3, in second position we are having 5. So in second position I'm saying change that value to 4 and I'm printing it. It's successfully changed. Now I want you people to guess what will happen if I say print L2. What will be my answer? Come on guys, quick. This is something very important because your lab exams are coming and you people need to write your lab fact, which is of 100 marks. And not only about your exams, but you have to gonna continue your programming journey. Same as L1, some says 1357, 1357. Come on, guys, I only got few responses. Same as L1, 1357, it's a mixed response, okay? Okay, we can simply run and see. The answer is same as L1. Why is it so? We'll see. So when I created L1 is equals to 1357, L1 is assigned to 1357. When I said L2 is equal to L1, it means that L2 will also point to the same object. We are not creating a copy of the object, but we are pointing towards the same object. Okay? Because list is a mutable value. What happens is, see here, now I'm gonna change this 5 value in its place. Now the 5 became 4. Before it was 5, now it's 4. As L2 is also pointing towards the same value, the changes in L1 will affect the changes in L2. So the lists are called mutables. Deep copying. Yes, you're right. Nice. Okay, let's see a few more examples. Okay, assume that now if you want to create two lists, same as I'll delete this. Okay, or else. Now I created list L1 saying that L1 is equals to 1357. Now, okay. Now I want L2 also to be the same values of L1, but I don't want to change whenever the L1 is changed. I don't want my L2 be changed whenever my L1 is changed, but I want L1 and L2 to be same. I don't want to, then what to do? We can simply say L2 is equals to L1. Yesterday, I guess you people learned slicing. What does this mean? When I say L2 is equals to L1, spare brackets, and do this. Come on, guys, what does this mean? Start and stop. There are no values inside, so it starts from 0th index and does it till end of the list. So what are my L2 values? Now let's print L1 and L2. L1, next print L2. Now let's see. Now I'm having same list but with different names. L1 is L1 and L2. Now let's do some changes in L1 and check whether it really affecting my L2 or not. Now L1, I want to change the first element itself, I mean the second one, to maybe 9. Now I want to print my L1 and L2. Come on, guys, will this change my L2 also or not? What is value of L2? It will change L2. Okay. Come on. Yes, it will change L2. It will change. Okay, we'll see. Answer is no, it will not change. Why? Please explain them in depth. Okay, fine. Shallow copying, no change. Okay. What really happened here is, here I'm directly assigning L1 to L2. But here I'm saying you just copy values inside L1 to L2. It's like I'm creating another object there. I'm not just assigning L1 to L2. So whenever I do any changes in L1, that will not affect L2 because I just copied from L1. I did not assign L2 to L1. You understood? Here, I assign complete L1 to L2. But here I'm saying just copy it from L1. I'm not assigning L1 to L2. So, okay, Raghuvam shall explain it again for you. Sir, I asked to explain the topics I mentioned before. Not understood, not understood. Guys, these topics are a bit complex. I need your full attention and please do not deviate. We'll try to complete most of the topics. Please don't ask the topics that you mentioned because we prepared one syllabus that are helpful for your FAT and for your programming journey. Please focus on the class. I know these things are a bit complex, so I'll explain it again. First, let's see why L1 and L2 are same and why it is same. Here, we created L1, which says 1, 3, 5, 7 is equals to L1. Okay. Next, it's saying that L2 is equals to L1. Here, I'm assigning whatever the values inside L1 has to be in the values of L2. That means if any changes happens in L1, that changes has to happen in L2. But here, I'm just copying the elements. I'm not assigning whole L1 to L2. I'm just saying create a list for L2, but elements has to be copied from L1. So I just copied so that they're looking same before. Now when I change something in L1, it will not change in L2 because I copied only for once. I'm not copying it every time after change. When we copy and update, it doesn't update in slicing. No, it doesn't update in slicing because first it reads this line, the interpreter, the Python language reads this line, then it reads this line. It said like copy all these elements into this one. It copied. Then it's saying to update L1. We updated L1, and it's saying print L1 and L2. But there is no line which saying that update L2. And as also we know that L1 is not assigned to L2, so L2 will not change as L1 changes. Did you people understand at least now, or you want me to explain in some other way? No. No understood? Not understood? Understood. Sir, how to prepare for CSC lab fat? I guess this is the CSC that you're having now, Python. It's Vishwanath. Okay. This is how mutable and immutable works. Hopefully you understood. Okay, now let's get back to functions. Okay, first, suppose I call you all to assemble in CB Portico. What would be your first question? If I say all of you assemble in CB Portico, what would be your first question? Please don't go to CB, I'm just asking you. Why? Because it's human tendency to learn or to ask why. Why do we need to do that? Without reason, we don't like to do anything. So before learning also, we need to think why we need to learn that, what is the purpose of learning it, and what we gonna gain after learning it. So why do we need functions? Functions is such topic or such method which helps you to use your logic. Your logic in the sense, suppose I want to create a function, like suppose function name is add a comma b. C is equals to a plus b. Okay, hope you can see my screen. Now print c. So what did I do? I created a function. And what is the logic here? Whenever you get a two inputs, add them and print the addition. So this is my add function. So whenever I want to add something, I don't have to always write these lines of codes. I can just call add function and ask it to do that. So what happens? It will save my time. I don't have to code everything that I have already done. So coding the same thing again and again wastes your time, energy, and space. So functions helps us to use our logic as per requirement, number of times, and saves our time. Now you people know why do we need functions? Obviously, I'll teach how to use them, how to define them, and how what is the syntax and all. At least you people understood the purpose. Please answer with yes or no. Yes, yes, yes. Fine. Now, functions are of two types, predefined functions and user-defined functions. Okay, what are predefined functions? First, let's learn about predefined functions. Okay, yesterday, you saw your instructor using many different types of functions like append, insert, extend, delete, remove, reverse. All those are predefined functions, means they already have their own purpose. Like whenever you use them, you'll get the similar result. Did you code them? Like, did you code what happens when you use for append? No, it's already done by the authors of Python. Means it's already given to you by authors. Let me take a typical analogy. Suppose assume that you are buying cup noodles. You just have to pour hot water into it, and output is with you, like you can eat them. Already someone has prepared it, made it ready, and they want just you to pour hot water. Here also, here you just have to give the input, and it will give you the output. So predefined functions are already prepared functions which have defined logic. Okay. What are user-defined functions? They are nothing but functions that you define. You give logic to it. It's when you are cooking something, you put your own spices, you put your own vegetables or something, and you expect the output. Here, everything is already done by someone else, and you just use it. Here, you prepare everything, you use it. That's the difference between predefined functions and user-defined functions. Let's see a few examples of predefined functions. Suppose, okay, can anyone name a predefined function that you have been using multiple times, which is a simple user-defined function, which you use it unknowingly? I hope you did some coding, maybe at least copy-pasted from somewhere else. Print, very good. That's what my expecting answer was, print. Print is that user-defined function, sorry, predefined function, which is given by authors to us to use. Okay. Suppose now let's use input predefined function. Let's learn how to use input. A is equals to input. Okay. Print A. Okay. Now, what am I doing here by saying input? Why I'm calling input function? Usually what happens in your first semester or in your first years, what you do is you hard code the code. Like you give everything. Here, what did I do? List one is defined by myself. Like I gave it 1, 3, 5, 7. But usually when you work for a client or someone outside your university, the inputs are given by someone else because they give input and they expect output. It's not you who will be giving input every time. So this input function helps us to take inputs from the user. When if you give me this code and ask me to run this, so this is asking me to give the input. Okay, I will be the one giving the input. So I'll give that today is Sunday. This is the input which I gave, and this is the output, because I'm simply saying whatever the input to the A, print it. Okay. Let's have an interesting question now. A is equals to input. I'm writing enter a value. You can do this. This will not affect anything else. Okay. B is equals to input, enter another value. C is equals to A plus B. Print C. What am I trying to do? Trying to add two numbers. So let's try to run this code. It's asking me to enter a value. Let's enter 4. It's asking me to enter another value. Let's enter 5. See, what did it give me? 45. Okay, all these days I was doing my math wrong. 4 plus 5 is 45. Or else my computer don't know how to do math. Tell me, why is it 45 and not 9? Very good. Inputs are always treated as strings. So it just concatenated the 4 and 5. So what I have to do if I have to take numbers as the input? Okay, int. Simply we need to add int here. Now let's run this code. Again 4, again 5, and it's 9 now. What it had done is it is taking now int as an input. First it took strings as an input, now it's taking int as an input. Okay, clear with the input and input function? Okay, now let's see sum. Suppose we have a list and we want to add all the values in the list. So what will we do? Just print sum L1. This will give addition of all the elements inside the list. Okay. So that's how the predefined functions worked. So one more thing I want to show you people. Predefined functions in Python. So these are predefined functions that you get to see in Python. So the first question rises in your mind that do we need to learn all this? Do we need to mug up all this or memorize everything? Answer is a big no. Even the person who's a Python developer or Python full stack developer or something, he will not know all these functions. Then how to use it? See, you can just go through these functions, just have acquaintance like these are available functions. Whenever you feel like there is some function that you need, you can just Google it. You can read the documentation and use them. You don't have to worry reading up all this. Just know the basic ones like this one. Like starting ones are usually basic, like some input, int, float, type conversion things, or maybe finding out the length. Okay. Even this you can do. I want to print the length of the list. I can simply say this will print length. Length is, there are 4 elements, so the length is 4. Okay. Now I want you to get acquainted with another important thing. Like we have predefined functions like factorial, square root, and many things like this. But they are by default, you cannot use them. To use them, you need to import some library called math. This is a library which you need to import before using them. So first, then print. I want to print math dot square root of maybe 100. Without using this math, we cannot use square root. So square root is the predefined function, but we do not have it by default, so we are importing it from a library called math. Okay, I hope you are having clarity now. We can use it for factorial as well. See, this is the factorial of 100. Okay, is it clear till now? Yes, yes. Okay, we'll see about user-defined functions. Okay, first I'll teach you what is the basic syntax. So before you define a function, you have to use the syntax called def, which means defining a function. Then you have to give function name. It can be anything, IEI, your name itself, or if you are doing anything specific to math, you can use it math, or cap, fan, something. You can give it here as you wish. Then here in brackets, you give the parameters. What are parameter? Parameter are nothing but the way you want to give the input. Suppose I'm giving A, comma, B. This means for this function, I'm expecting two inputs. So I'm giving two parameters. Okay. And I put semicolon, I mean not semicolon. Then I say, what shall we do? C is equals to A divided by B. Okay. Then print C. I'm calling this function now. Maybe some 10, comma 5. Answer is 2. Whenever I'm using the function outside the function, I'm calling the function. Okay, this is the syntax, basic syntax of how you define a function. This is the here you're starting definition, you're giving the name, you're giving parameters, and these two lines are the logic of the code. And this is called calling the function. Okay. Are you people okay with the syntax of the defining a function? Now we'll see a concept called parameters. Heading sounds terrifying, but it's actually a simple concept. Here we'll see. See, I'm saying that A and B are my parameters. When I'm creating a function, A and B, which are the placeholders, which will, in future, I want two inputs. So I'm creating a place for two inputs, like saying A and B. So these are my formal parameters. When I'm giving values 10, 5, these are my actual parameters because those are the actual inputs that are being sent inside the function. So these are my 10, 5 are my actual parameters. Okay, is it fine with you guys? Come on, this class sounds so silent. Now I'm feeling sleepy. Yes. Now you understand. So what happened? Okay, we have another concept here. Suppose now I'm saying, okay, let's create another one. Copy this. Now I'm saying A is equals to 3. B is equals to 1.5. These are random numbers I'm giving. There's no logic. Why did I give 3 or why I'm giving 1.5? Okay. Now, what does 3 and 1.5 means? So, these are nothing but default values. This 3 and 1.5 are default values. So, whenever some value is missing in the input, suppose I forgot by mistake, I called the function, but I forgot to give the second value. I just gave 10 and leave it and left it. Then what will be my output? Usually, if there is no default value, I'll be getting error, but there is a default value 1.5. So whenever I run this program, the 10 is divided by 1.5. Whenever there is no input from the user or there is no input given to the function, this default value comes into the play. Suppose I remove this 10 also. Then the 3 is divided by 1.5. That's why it's 2. Suppose if I give some 100, 60. Now I gave inputs. So these default values does not work. These default values only work when there is no input. Okay. Now you people know you know how to define a function. You know what are formal parameters, what are actual parameters, and what are the default parameters. Correct? Now we'll see another interesting one is return statement. Statement which ends execution of the function and returns the result of an expression. Suppose I'm defining a function now, which is IEI, our chapter's name, because we need to promote it, A comma B. Now C is equals to A divided by, okay, you are not understanding parameters once. Okay, I'll explain it. See, this is the definition. First, your DEF will start defining a function. This function name is nothing but the name which you gave to your function. And you're saying in function A comma B. In the first line, you're saying A comma B. What does this mean is your function is expecting 2 inputs. So you have to create some space for the 2 inputs. Okay, this A and B are doing that. This A and B are creating place for their coming inputs. So this, what is the C doing? Whatever the input comes for A, whatever input comes for B, it is dividing those both and printing it. That's it. Now, what is when I'm calling the function, I'm giving inputs like 10, 5. Now, A will be equal to 10, B will be equal to 5, so C will be equals to 2. When I'm printing C, I'm getting 2. So these are creating space for my inputs. So these are called formal parameters, and these are actual parameters, which means the actual inputs which I'm giving. What is my actual requirement? I want to know the divided value of 10 by 5. So these are my actual parameters. These are defining the logic inside, like what has to be done with the inputs. So these are my formal parameters. So when I come to the default one, whenever there is missing of values, suppose I'll explain it this way. When you get an error, you understand. Suppose there is no default parameter and the user doesn't know that he have to give input values and he calls the function. What does it say? It's saying that missing 2 required positional arguments A comma B. So I don't want this error to occur in my product. So I'm saying if the user doesn't give any input, I want the system to consider input as 2 and another input as maybe 4. Your wish, you can give it as anything and run it. Now, even though there are no inputs given by the user, there is no error, but instead there is a value. Where did this value come from? It came from default values. Pravalika, are you okay now? Like, did you understand it? Or you want me to explain in some other way? Understand. Okay. Now let's get back to defining a function and understanding return statement. Now we are trying to understand return statement. A simple one yet confusing. Don't worry. There is a function, define IAI, which saying that it has two inputs, A comma B, which is saying C is equals to A divided by B. Now I'm saying return C. Okay. Now I'm calling C. When from return, when I press enter, it's automatically taking my cursor to end of the line, which means I cannot write anything after return statement. Current. I am calling the function now IEI by giving two inputs, 4, 2. Let's run this. The answer is 2. So this return statement helps us to push the result outside the function, and to get that return statement gives us the output of that function. Assume still if I write or if I start writing something after return statement, D is equals to A plus T. What is the expected output now? Guys, please. If I run this code, what will be my expected output? Come on, chat box is so silent. 2. I don't know whether you understood the concept and answering it 2 or it's just a random guess. Because here I'm adding A to the P. P is not defined here. So usually what is the expected answer? Error. Because P is not defined in the function. But let's run and see. Is my guess correct or wrong? Oh my god, your answer is correct. Why? Because answer is 2. Answer is 2 because after return statement, your program is not going to read the statement. It simply ignores whatever you write after return statement. Whatever you write, it will ignore. Let's take this one, put it here, and run it. You'll get error saying that P is not defined. But when you put the same statement after return statement, it does not give any error because your code doesn't want to read this line number 6 because already the return statement is given. That simply means after return statement, you cannot add anything to the logic of your function. After return statement, you cannot simply add anything to the function because return statement is the last line of the function. Whatever you write after it, it's simply ignored and it jumps back to line number 8. Okay, I'll explain it again. So I'll start it from beginning. I'm defining a function. Function name is I. It has two inputs. Okay. Now C is equals to A divided by B. Till here it's fine. Now I'm saying return C means whatever is the value of C, return it. Return means please give it as an output. Now I'm calling the function IEI and giving the actual parameters as 4, 2. So whenever I run this program, the answer is 2 because 4 divided by 2 is 2. Now, if I write here D is equals to, I'm creating another variable D is equals to A plus P, it gives me an error because what is the error? P is not defined. Because in the whole logic, we never spoke about P. We know about A and B, which will carry these values. We know C, which will carry this value. We don't know what the hell is P. So it's giving me that output. But when I give the same statement in the same code, but just by changing the line number, which is after return statement, it's giving me no error because everything after return statement will go ignored. Okay, understood now? Or anything else question like why print is not being ignored even it is after print statement? Okay, the difference between return statement and function calling. Return statement is nothing but it gives the output. Where it is giving the output, it gives output whenever we call the function. This return statement gives the output to this statement. Okay, it's not like this alone can print it. No. Suppose if I remove this print statement and run it, I'll get no output because return statement cannot print out the values. Only when I say print and call the function, this return statement value gets stored here and I'll be able to print it. That's the difference between calling the function and return statement. If D is equals to A plus B means, you want me to change it to B. Even then, there will be no absolute no change. But if I say this here, let's check. And if I say return A, C, comma, D. Now let's see. Now it's 2, 6. Because before return statement, we can change the code and we can add whatever we want to add. Suppose if I remove this D from return statement and simply run this code, I'll not get 6 because this has been calculated, but it's not getting returned by the function because return statement is not talking about D, it's only talking about C. Understood? Return statement, are you okay with return statement? Come on, quick yes or no. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, now let's see defining a function. Another function. These functions are very important because without these functions, you cannot do any advanced coding or maybe intermediate level coding also. So please do focus. Now I'm defining a function f of x. Okay. Return. I'll explain it in detail after coding. Please do not fear by seeing what is he writing. Okay. I define two functions here. One function is f, function f. Another function is function g. Okay. What does function f do? Whenever a function f is called, it calls function g, and whatever is the input, it add 1 to it. Okay. Now, whenever I go to function g, it adds 3 to the input. So what is happening to g here? Now z is calling function f of 77. Now what is the value of x here? 77. So now the value shifts to here. Let's understand it through the PPT. From line number 5, we are starting. It's like f of 77. So the x value is 77 now. It goes to line number 1. From line number 1, we are transferring it to line number 2, where it's saying that calling function g and adding 1 to the input value. So we are sending it to function g, but adding 1, so it became 78. So here, the input is 78. Now what does this function g is saying? Return input value by adding 3. So I'm transferring it to number 4 where it's saying return y plus 3. So what is y? Y is 78 plus 3 is 81. And I'm sending it to 5. Now 81 is stored in the variable z. Whenever we print z, the output is 81. This is how the pointer moves line by line in a program. So one question, one interesting question I really wanted to know that you people are aware or not is in Python, are we going to use interpreter or a compiler? Do you people really know what is the difference between interpreter and a compiler? Come on, answers, guys. Compiler, interpreter, compiler. Okay, the people who are answering it, please let me know the difference between interpreter and a compiler. Please do not Google. I want you to people think. No, the difference is confusing. Yes, of course the difference is confusing. So I want you people to think. Compile every line. Interpreter is an interactive mode. Compiler is a script mode. In VS Code or something, I write whole script and print it. So does it make Python a compiled language or a language is using compiler? Python is an interpreted language. Means whenever a program is run, the first Python does it reads first line, understands it, executes it. Then it goes to the second line, reads it, understands, execute. Then third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Suppose there is error in fourth line, it will not go to fifth line because there is error in fourth line. Until and unless this fourth line is cleared, I cannot go to fifth or sixth line. That's why it is an interpreted language. It goes line by line. It will not compile everything and print. It will interpret every line and execute it. Okay. So Python is an interpreted language. Why I asked that one, you'll know in a short time. So see this now. Suppose I remove this statement from here. Let me copy the whole code. Okay, first run this. 77. Okay, print 77, not 77. Print Z. Yeah. Now if I remove this Z from here and place it here. Okay, it's giving me 81. Actually, it wouldn't give because let me change the kernel. Now if I run this code, what will be my answer? Come on, quick guys. Am I going to get 81 or not? If yes, why? If no, why? Come on, we are running out of time. And there's a lot more to cover. Error. Why error? 78. Why is it 78? 81. Okay, let's run it and see. Answer is error. Because what's happening? We'll check. First, the interpreter first read the first line. Okay, everything is fine. Whenever function f is called, it has to add 1 by calling g function. Now it's reading this third line. It's saying that it's calling function f and giving input as 77. So it goes to line number 1. It's given input as 77. It says go to line number 2, where by giving input as 78. But it is calling function g. Does our interpreter know what is function g? No, because it never went to line number 4. The interpreter only went to line number 1, 2, 3. It never visited line number 4, but because that's why the interpreter never know that there is some function says g is existing. So it says g is not defined. Okay. Did you people get what I'm trying to say or what I'm trying to convey? As the interpreter doesn't know that there is a function called g, so it never gonna implement this g. As there is no output, we are calling g which is not defined yet, so we're getting an error. That's why I asked whether your people know interpreter is or a compiler, what's happening in Python. Okay. So there is a recommendation from Python saying that whenever you start executing your code, please define all functions first, then start doing it. Here also, first we defined the functions required, then we started calling the functions. But here we defined a function, then we started calling. But the problem here is we couldn't give this function because it's defined after the calling. Okay. So it's always recommended to define all the functions before you start calling functions. Okay. Okay, now comes devil of the hall, recursion. What is recursion? Function calling itself. Sounds simple, right? No, it's not simple. Try seeing this, you may get some idea. Come on, guys. What is he doing? First, he read problems with recursion, and it says pick one if you want to have some problem, like if you want to see some problem with recursion. So he picked one sheet, and it says problem with recursion, and please take one. And again, if he takes here, it will have the same thing. This is called recursion, happening again and again and again. So whenever I hear something which is happening again and again and again, I get I get some other concept of Python into my mind. What is that concept which other than recursion? Repetition of action. Yes, very good. Loops. So why can't we use, what is the difference between recursion and loops? If both are same, why do we have some recursion? Because we already know loops, then why to learn recursion? Because in loops, what happens? Loops are of two kinds. Yes, for loop, while loop. In for loop, we just iterate over the object. In while loop, we check the condition, but there is no repetition of logic there. In while loop, we just check the condition. In for loop, we just iterate again and again and again. But there is no repetition of logic or reduction of the complexity there. Okay, so we, that's the difference between loops and recursion. Recursion is far more advanced concept than loops. So what is the point of recursion? Like if you want, we are calling the same function again and again and again, doing it many times. Why do we need to do it so many times? Like what is the point of doing it? So whenever the recursion occurs, from the first recursion to the second recursion, the complexity reduces. First one is very big, but the second recursion reduces itself. Third reduces itself. Finally, we get a point where it cannot be recurred again. So from that point, we'll be starting breaking down. Okay. Let's learn it with few examples actually. The very famous example, actually, I don't like to use the examples that are already being you're getting from your professors or something, but this is a standard example, so I have to, which is nothing but factorial. Suppose, okay, let's first understand the logic behind factorial. Can I of this? Suppose you want to find 5 factorial. What is it? Oh my God. 5 factorial is nothing but 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. This is simply the 5 factorial. If I write it in some other way, how can I write? 5 factorial is equals to 5 into 4 factorial, isn't it? Because 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 is nothing but 4 factorial. Am I right? So what does this say? To find the factorial of 5, you need to know the factorial of 4. But the only positive point here is, here we need to compute another extra value. Here we need to compute only 4 values. Again, we can write 4 factorial as 4 factorial as 4 into 3 factorial. Again, here what's happening? It's been reduced further. So for finding out a factorial, we are finding under factorial, which means factorial is calling upon factorial, the function calling itself. Are you people okay with this kind of analogy? You people at least understood the intuition of recursion? By solving the simpler one, we are trying to solve the bigger one. If you simply talk, by solving the simpler one, we are trying to solve bigger one. Okay, now let's try to find out the factorial. Defining a function named fact, giving its formal parameter as n, then f. What is the factorial of 0? Come on guys, quick. 1, very good. Thank God you're still no max. So what am I saying? Whenever n is equals to 0 or n is equals to 1, just return 1, because the factor of 0, factorial of 1 is 1. Else, if the input is not is equals to 0 or 1, what we have to do? We are creating a variable a which will store the value, which will store the result for us for time being. Or we can simply name it as result. Why not? Result equal to n into fact of n minus 1. So this comes from here. N factorial is equals to n into n minus 1 factorial. So here also we are doing the same thing. N into n minus 1 factorial. Return result. Now we want to see by giving some input. Print fact 5. What are we doing here? What's happening actually? Let's see. First, the input is given as 5. So it goes here. It checks with the if statement. Is 5 is equals to 0 or is it equals to 1? No. So if statement fails, so it goes to else statement. Here, the result equals to, result is just a variable, empty variable as of now. 5 into factorial of n minus 1. What is n? 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So it wants to know 5 into 4 factorial. Okay. Does we know what is the 4 factorial? No, we don't know. So that's why it's calling the function again. So now the input is 4. Again, it's checking like, is n equals to 4? Sorry, is n equal 4 is equal to 0? No. Is n equal to 1? No. So the if statement fails. Then again it goes to the else statement where it says 4 into 3. Again, this goes to here. Again it checks, is 3 equal to 0 or 1? No. Then 3 into 2. 2 goes as an input. Again, is 0 equals to 2 or 1? No. Then else statement 2 into 1. Do we know the factorial? Now the input is 1. What is the output when input is 1? It's 1. So now we know what is the input of 1. So we got 1 as input and the output is also 1. So 1 into 2. This is the first thing that's happening. Then it says into 3. Then again into 4. into 5. It's nothing but 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1, which is nothing but 120. Okay, if you're not understanding it now, we have another example to solve. Assume you want to write a program to count down, like count down, yeah, I mean like 0, 1, 2, 3, or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Now we want to write a program which does this thing, which countdowns from 10 to 0. How to do that? Let's define a function name countdown. What is the input from where you want to start your countdown? Okay, I created a formal parameter n. If the n value is less than 0, then we don't have to calculate. We can simply say print countdown completed, isn't it? Now else. Okay, no need of else statement actually. Return print n. After printing n, we want to call countdown. One again. Okay. Okay, there's an issue here with the written statement, I guess. Let me clear this for you and write it again. Let's put on it maybe. I'll just print it. Okay, 1 second, guys. Written. Okay. The problem is here. Now, I have to simply call the program by saying countdown. Let's give some value to it. Let's count it till from 10. What happened? It started from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But it really sounds like some countdown. Like usually we expect countdown to be from like 10, waiting for a second, then counting it as 9. Can we do that in Python? Can anyone, like any word that you know which makes it really wait the program to wait for 1 second, then print 9, then wait for 1 second, then print 8? Anyone know that? Time. Very good. You people know a lot more than what's expected. We have to import some library called time. What that will do is it will help us, it will help the interpreter to wait for 1 second. How? We'll see. Time sleep for 1 second. Yeah, now we'll see. Okay, here what we are doing, we are starting the input as 10. It's not less than 0. So we're printing 10 and waiting for 1 second, then again calling the same function by subtracting 10 minus 1, it's 9. So then our input is 9. So 9 will be printed, then wait for 1 second, 8. 8 is printed, then wait for 1 second, 7, and so on till we get 0. Okay. After 0, as it's less than 0, we'll print that countdown is completed. We no more. We don't want to do anything as such like counting it down. So now you people okay with counting also. Are you people okay with the recursion concept? Or is it too complex? Yes or no? Like, did you understand these two codes? Like, how is the factorial working? How is the countdown working? The thing is, after the lecture, you need some practice, then you'll be able to do this. One more example. We have another example. I'll for sure do it, but not now, at the end of the lecture. Okay. Now it's time for some activity. It's been already 1.5 hours almost. So it's like mono lecture. So it's like if you're feeling bored or if you're feeling sleepy, this will take it away. We have an interesting activity now. Stay tuned. Okay, all of you, please check your WhatsApp. You will be getting one interesting Python file, .py file. Please let me know, did you get it or no? Please let me know. Yes, I want you to copy that code and run it in your IDE. It may be VS Code, Jupyter Notebook, anything, your wish. In your IDE, please run it. The thing is, now we are playing a game where there are few bugs. Don't worry, there are simple bugs, like simple syntax errors or maybe something like that. You need to correct them. If you correct it, you'll get an output. You don't have a proper app to open it. The link is not, it's not a link, it's a .py file. So what you have to do is, you have to right click and choose open with. Or else I can share a text document also. The people who are not having VS Code or something, I'll share a text document. No worries. Huh. Even from a text document, you can run it. The people who are using online compilers will have this issue. If you're having VS Code, please right click and choose open with VS Code and run the code. The code is having few errors. If you run, obviously the output panel will show you what kind of error it is. You have to debug them and try to get the output. If you get the output, Then we'll see what happens. First, try getting output. Output as a key or something which will take you to the next level, and whoever reaches that level is the winner of this activity. And we are monitoring it. Don't worry, you got enough time, like you can do it. You can try debugging till 4:30. Even then, if no winner comes up, we'll come up with an int. Done. Okay, do what it says. Do not write the output in chat box. Please don't do that. Okay, even you corrected it. You people are so fast. We thought this activity will take some 10 to 15 minutes. So we underestimated you people. You all got output. Okay. Open your Instagram. Whatever output you got, please type it in the search box and go to that channel, and that channel will lead you next. Please do that. People who have done that, please do not share your answers. Even if you do that, nothing happens because only first person will be considered. You don't have Insta, brother. Fine. You, it's just an activity. Don't have to worry. If you don't have Insta, please do not worry. It's just an activity. Uh, you get an output. Please read the output, note it down, convert everything to small case, convert wherever you get Z, convert it to be 2, which gives you Insta ID. Search for that Insta ID in Instagram. If you have no Instagram, you don't have to worry. It's just an activity. Feel happy that you have debugged it. Try debugging it. That will let you know whether you are really able to solve questions or not. Okay, we got our first comment. 24 BCA 7442. He is the winner of this activity. The first person to reach. So if you debug the code, the ID which you will get is PYPREP2.IEI. As of now, we got our winner. So people, if you want to try, you can try, but there is only one winner. People who are commenting, we appreciate them that they are doing it. Seven double four two. 7442 is the winner. Congrats. You are the first one to reach. People who couldn't do this because they don't have Insta or something, no worries. No problem. This will not affect your some certificate or something else. It's just a fun activity. Okay. So people who are confused, let me tell you, that's if you run that code, you'll get Instagram ID name. You have to type that Insta ID and search for it. There is a post inside. You have to comment there your registration number. And whoever comments first is the winner. That's it. It has nothing to do. Okay. Now we are done with our activity. Let's come back for learning. There are a lot more topics waiting for you people. Okay. I want you people to see these two codes and check what's the difference or if you get any doubt. Yeah, even we do mistakes. Nice one, Bhavyashri. Come on, guys, come back. We got some codes here, which is which looks similar, which got the answer as same as 5, 5. So, what's the difference? Or do you get any doubt, something, some question hitting your mind hard? Yes, it's same output, but the way the code is written is different. Yet you're getting the output same. You must get some doubt. Be curious. Think. Come on, guys. You got 30 seconds to think. I know it's a short time, but we are helpless. We are having time constraints. Come on, come on. I'm waiting for some doubt that you people may ask. See, in the first one, I'm using return C. Even then, I'm getting output as 5. In second one, I'm not using return statement. Even then, I'm getting my output as 5. So here in second code, print statement is giving me the output. Okay. So what's the total purpose of return statement when print is doing the all work? Okay. Here, if you say print statement and return statement are doing same work, then what's point of having two different statements? We can simply, you can't see anything on screen, is it?
No, 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 it's visible.
Okay, fine. Try joining, rejoining, Akhilesh. Don't give me heart attack in between. Let me live. Okay. When print statement is doing work of written statement, then why do we need a written statement? Are return and print statement both having same function? I mean to say they both having same work to do, or are they both different? If both are different, then how come it's not visible in this code output? Come on, guys. I want you people to think this way and let me know your thought. Come on, fast. I know this today's lecture is a bit long and bit complex, but still. Ajay, is my screen not really visible?
Yeah, it's visible. It's visible. Sorry.
Stop playing.
Sorry, guys.
Come on, you people are not, like, did you people get my question? Are you still people doing like scrolling reels on Instagram? Stop, I still find comments. Come back, come back. You need to learn. Insta comment will not give you 100 marks in your fact. For long quotes, it's useful. What is useful? What is it means here? Repeat question. Okay. See the two questions. So the two quotes. In first code, we are having return C. In second one, we have print C. Yet we are having output as 5 in the both cases. Why there is no difference when there is no return statement in second code, or why there is no difference when there is a different print statement? Are both print statement and return statement are same, or they're different? If they're different, how come the output is same? If they're same, then why do we have two different one? Like, why can't we just work out with print? Why we have to learn about return statements? Using written statements, we can print whenever we want. We may have cases where we need to store the value of the function but not print. Okay. 24 BCS 7848. If it's your own answer, I'm really impressed. But if it is copy pasted, no, it's fine because we all do that. They both are same. 24 BCE 75, I cannot see. Arpit. If they both are same, then why are learning two different things? Why can't we just learn one thing and leave other one? Why to waste time? Return is used to store the value and print is used to print the value. Great. So I guess if you're all are having IDE open or some VS Code, Jupyter book or something. Now the topic that we are going to cover is return versus print. You will not find this topic in any textbook or somewhere because this is a topic that usually this topic is wantedly brought into this syllabus because we want to clear out what actually internally happens when return statement is called. I want you people to look at this code. We already done this code, which is a factorial code. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is remove the return here. We have here. We are going to simply remove that return statement and write print, because when you see here, it's like no difference if you print it here or print it here, or you use a return statement or not. Or does it happen here also or not? We will see. We are using print statement, simple print statement. Will this work or not? It gives us error, a big error, saying the result is where it is not associated with the value. Why is that? Why is it so? It printed 1 because there is a if condition saying if n is equals to 1, print 1. Why does this error occur? As people already said, return will store the value and which can be used for future purpose. But whereas print, it just give you it as an output, but it's no longer in use. Like, you can, after printing, you cannot use it somewhere else because it's not stored. It's just displayed. So what's happening here? Let's understand. What's happening here is, first the input is 5, so it goes here. It will check this one. It's not some 1 or something, so it goes here. It goes to factorial, then it becomes, okay, we'll start writing here itself. Yeah. Okay, the first input is 5, then it goes, checks, then its answer is 4, then again it goes and checks for, then it's 3. I'm not explaining it in detail because already we are done with factorial thing. Then it's 2. Then it's, so when the input is 1, it goes to the if statement. So whenever n is equals to 1, it's saying print 1. So we got the output as print. Here also we are getting print 1. But this is not an integer. It's of none type. Because whenever there is no return statement, the output is converted to type none. So everything this is an integer and it is been multiplied to a type 9. There are different types, right? Like string, int, float. Such type is none. So this whole integer part is being multiplied to a none type, which we cannot do. Okay? We cannot do such multiplications between two different types. So you are getting an error. So here to get the proper output, which has to be int 1, we have to put return 1. Okay. Now what happens if we remove return statement here and place 1? Why are you wasting our time by doing the same thing again and again? Please don't ask that question. Because here the problem was about calculation. Here it was the problem regarding calculation, right? But here calculation is being done here. So I have no issue by printing it here. Okay, the calculation is being done up. So I don't need anything again here. So I can just use print statement instead of return. Can I do that? Let's run. Okay, I just remove this. There's again, see, the output says int and none type. What's happening here? Here, when the calculation is happening here, like at this line, n into n factorial. Okay, it's fine, we are doing this. But here we are not returning the previous factorial's value. We are just printing it. We are not returning it. So this n becomes none type. So the previous recursion's value becomes none. So here none into this integer. So again the same problem, we cannot multiply two different types, integer and none. Okay, that's what it's shown here. Whenever you use print here, you get an error. Whenever you use print here, you get the same error because even here we are using the value from previous recursion, which is of none type because there is no return statement here. That's it. Now, okay, there's an interesting question for you people. I'll just set this code right by giving return the result. Now I want you, so we'll run this first. What's the answer? It's 120. I don't want to just print 120. I want to print it like 120. Like I want to print the whole recursion like 120. Then it was like what's 2, 6, then 24. I want to print it that way. Try printing out result after every recursion. First the value will be 1, second the value will be 2, then third value will be maybe 2 into 3 is 6, then fourth value will be 12, or something like that. I want you people to print it that way. Come on, guys, please do make some change. Okay, I'll just paste this in your chat box so that you don't have to code it again. Just make a simple change so that you get output as required. I want the output as, I'll let that also to you. I want output as 1, 2, 6, 24, 120. It can be in reverse order also as you wish. I want all this to be printed, not just printing 120. Try doing that and let me know in the chat box your answer. Okay, return result. Is it correct? Shanmukh, what change did you do, man? It looks same, but just without indentation. I guess 7442 answer is correct. People, please check his answer. Try running it in your local system and know. Curiosity should work. Okay, then we have one of the, like we are coming to end of my lecture. It talks about modules. Okay, for this, modules is nothing but suppose you have coded this entire thing and saving this as dot code.py file. Okay, maybe 1 minute. I'll just open my VS Code because I cannot do that here in IPYNB file. I know, yeah, my screen is blank. Wait, you will be able to see that soon. I guess now we are able to see it. Wait, 1 second. Yeah. Okay, yes. Okay, now I'm saying define a function. Let's use the same old function. Why to waste time creating new one? Just like our ECS projects. Yes, let's be return C. Okay, now this is something I want to save. Here you can see the name which I saved this code. It's saved as kcolor.py. Now I'll open some other function. Let me open this again. Don't worry, this is not the code. Now I just import k color. Okay, I'll just rename this one. Okay, it's saved. This one. Now I'm importing that Python file here so that I can use it. How do I use it? Print a color dot, what was the function name? Add by giving two inputs. Now run this. What's the output? 5. In this whole page, I did not code anything. It's coded in this page. I'm using this code's information in here. Okay. So it's been printed as 5. So this is called modules concept, where you import the other module by saving it to .py and import it in other page. But don't forget that everything has to be in your system locally. You cannot import .color now in your system because it's not in your system. It's in my system. Okay. Now we are printing it. Hope you understood modules concept. It's a simple concept. You don't have to worry. If you understood the simple logic, you can do that. Yes, fine. I want you to see this. So you all need to know how to write a good function, or else you will be in that place soon. Okay, we have another thing to watch. I don't know how many people know this already. My code is running slow. Is asking Python because you see, Python codes are short, but it takes lot of time for them to run. As of now, we are writing them short codes, but you do not observe that time difference. But codes in C or Java run much faster than codes in Python. So what do we do? So we need something which, even though you are using Python, we need something which helps us make it faster. What it is? Good logic and optimization. What is it? Good logic and optimization. This concept is very important for your lab part or maybe for your whole coding journey. This may build foundation. Now let's see how to do that. We'll take a good example in which I'm going to cover your branching concepts, looping concepts, and I'm sure I'll be completing in 10 minutes, don't worry. After that, we'll give you some break. Then you will have another, you'll maybe have some lecture part and then quiz. Okay? No worries. Hope you're learning. It's not boring. Please let me know. Bhavyashree, your smile says, is it boring or is it interesting? I know it's just snacks time, but still, snacks can wait. I don't know what's there serving in MH now. Let's take example of GCD. Okay. Suppose, what is GCD? Please, a max question comes up and people leave. We don't want max in our class, right? But still, you cannot avoid it. What is GCD? Come on, guys. GCD, simple, basic, 5th class max. Please Google it at least. Greater factor. Okay. Greatest common divisor. Thank God, people with max are still alive. Good. So, now we have to create a function which calculates GCD. Okay. How do we do that? So suppose there are two numbers named n comma n. Yes, HCF is equals to GCD. You don't have to worry much. So what happens? So GCD in which we have, it's completely based on the factors of a number. What are factors? What are factors of 4? Come on guys, quick. Time to check your max. You want to know quiz time? Why you only wants to attend that part of the course? You'll get that in your WhatsApp group. Yes, good. 1, 2, 4. Amma, I thought I have to explain factors now. You people saved me. Okay. When you observe factors of 4, is it exceeding the number 4? No. It never exceeds number 4. When you see factors of 6, is it exceeding number 6? No, it's always equal to or less than the value n. Whatever the value you take, it's always factors are less than or equal to that number. It never exceeds that number value. Never 7 cannot be never factor of 6. 6 cannot be numbers which are a factor of any numbers which are less than 6. Okay. I want you people to understand this logic in your mind, then we'll proceed. Now I'm defining a function GCD, which will get inputs as m comma n. We need to find GCD of these two numbers. Okay. Now we need to store the factors of m. So we are creating a list called fm, factors of m, empty list. Okay. We'll store whatever is the factor of m into this list. Focus guys, this is important for you to understand how logic is built and how the code is optimized. For I in range 1 comma m plus 1. Why is it m plus 1? Why is not m? Come on guys. Because in range, if we write range of 5, it's always 1, 2, 3, 4. It never considers 5. So we are to consider m, we are adding 1 to it. Okay. Now next, if m is divided by I and we get 0, what does that mean? It simply means that I is factor of m. So we want to append that value to our list. Okay. So what happens is if I divides m and we get remainder 0, it means it is a factor of m. So we want that to be added to this list. Okay, we have done this. Next, we are going to define factors of, and same logic, nothing new. For I in range, for I in range 1 comma n plus 1, f n is, we can use some other letter to avoid confusion, we use j. If n divided by j and we get remainder as 0, then it means it is a factor, then we append j value. Great, great, great. Now we are done with calculating the factors of m and n. Now we have to check what are common. Now we'll store the common factors in this list, a list which checks whether they are common or not. For this f is just a variable, f in fm, we are checking the first list, and if the same f, if f in fn, if it is present in both lists, then cf dot append f. Return cf -1. Why -1? Because we want the greatest one is at the end. Oh my God. Thanks for correction. Hey. Why am I using -1? The greatest thing will be stored at the last of the list, and we only need the last element that is stored. Okay. So now we are calling this function. I'm saying print GCD. I'm calling the function GCD, giving the actual parameters. Let's say 8, comma 16. Print. Is answer 8 correct? The people who know math can reply. People who don't know can pretend that answer is correct. So do you think so? Do we need such a the code which is having 2, 3 lists, and one we are having for loop, if conditions, so much thing happening. Why can't we complete this in a shorter code? Come on, guys. Like think how to reduce it. Where can we reduce it? So tell me, if I'm having two, let's take the last example, 8, comma 16. What can be the possible GCD? Can it exceed 8? No, because 8 cannot have factors ever greater than 8, so it cannot be common in both. So it's always closer to the number, to the shorter number. In this both, whichever is the shorter number, our answer is always close to that number. So we can ignore all things other than, which are greater than 8. With this logic, we are going to define another function GCD m comma n cf is equals to, okay, for in range minimum of m comma n plus 1. What am I doing? I'm saying that just consider the minimum value between these two, and we only want to calculate till that range. We don't have to go with till the greater number. We just want to calculate till the lower number, because that's enough. We don't have to waste our computational energy. If m is divided by this I, and we get 0, and not or, and n is divided by this same I, and we get 0, which means now if I is factor of m and I is factor of n, only then we are appending it. Append it to to the CF. Now we shall return this. Return same CF -1. Okay. Now let's call GCD again. Oh my God. Why am I writing O all time? 0. Sorry. Okay. Now the same code with less number of lines, we are getting same answer, which means I reduced my space complexity, time complexity, and I reduced so much of my energy. I optimized my code by building a logic which only requires the what are required for me. Okay, which only brings what are required. I don't need these two lists, because we are just calculating the between the range of minimum 1 and the minimum thing in these two. Am I clear? Am I overwhelming with you people? Clear. Please respond. Hope people are still here. Okay, now I'm open for doubts. If you have any doubt or something, or you people are so eager to eat your snacks. Clear, clear, clear. So I want you people to answer for one question. Once again, can you explain the range? Yes. Here, what am I doing is I will iterate from 1 to minimum value of m comma n plus 1. See, what I'm saying is the GCD always lies between 1 and the minimum, like whatever is the smallest number till that only. It will never go to 9 or 10, 11, 12, 13 because GCD has to be common in both the numbers. So it cannot cross the smallest number. So I'm saying just we'll consider only the smallest. Okay, that's why I'm writing minimum. Whatever is the minimum between these two, we will consider only that. Like if actually, suppose the input is 8 comma 16, so the minimum is 8. So the range will go from 1 to 9. It will not go till 16. So we reduce the computational expense. Is it okay? So one question I would like to ask you people, lambda functions, as of now, we did not include it in our syllabus. I'll check once and let you know. Maybe you'll get it to learn maybe tomorrow. I'll let you know in your WhatsApp group. So one question, do you people want to continue for more 20 minutes or do you need 10 minutes break? Fast, reply, continue, break, break, quiz. We know when to conduct quiz, please don't ask for it. You need break. You people are so exhausted learning, you need break. Continue, continue. Even if you write 3 times, it only will be considered once. Mr. Pandit, 24 BCE, 7189. Continue, continue. Break, break, break. Okay. We'll take, the point is if we take break now, we have to extend over your snacks time. Yes, we do conduct quiz. Okay then. Give me 2 minutes. I'll let you know whether we are continuing or having break. Okay, guys. So what we thought is like we'll be completing the whole thing, including quiz by 5:45, so that you don't have to give up on your snacks. Because if we leave you now and ask you to come back at 6 o'clock, some people may reach, some people may not come. and like it's a big mess. So please do cooperate till it's a small concept. Don't worry, it's a very small concept. Including quiz, will be completing it by 5:45. Please stay because you people are having exams. We are done with our Python exam already. Now the second instructor will be continuing from here. Don't worry, I'm leaving. Thanks for bearing with me.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rahul. Guys, I know it's too exhausting. I know that. Let me introduce myself. I'm Ajay. Don't worry, I'll teach you some very basic topic. I know functions is really annoying. I will just go to some numeric data types. Okay, some numerical data types and all. Okay, you don't have to worry. Let me share my screen first. I'll complete within 20 minutes. Okay, cool. Don't worry. First thing is my screen visible. Yeah, it is visible. Yeah. Okay, guys. So now I think you've come across the data types, right? In Python. So these are the common data types you likely deal with. So which are numbers, Boolean values, sequences, mapping, and sets. Uh, so I think you've come across strings, lists, tuples, yeah, dictionaries, sets, and also Boolean values. You know, right? True and false. So today I'll be discussing you the numbers. Okay, we'll only discuss about numbers. You don't have to worry. I know. Relax, I'll explain in few minutes itself. Okay, so let's go into the numbers directly. Okay, so first there are three types of numeric types in Python, which are integer, float, and complex numbers. So let's jump into our school days. Okay, so what do you know about the integers? Anyone? So integers are the combination of both positive and sorry positive and negative numbers, which includes 0 2. Okay, and what is a floating point number? Do you know about float numbers? Anyone in the chat box, do you know about float numbers? No one. Yeah, yeah. What is that? Tell me. Okay, let me explain. Floating point numbers are nothing but decimals, the fractional part numbers. Let's say 1.1, 2.5, 6.6. Those all are the floating point numbers. And you have idea about complex numbers, right? I think you have deal with it in your intermediate levels. It is a combination of imaginary numbers. There is a value iota, right? I, which stands for square root of -1. I think these are the basic concepts which you have learned in your intermediate and schooling levels itself. So let's directly jump into some examples. Okay, see here. So now 3 is an integer, right? So 3.14 is a floating point value, and 3i, as I've mentioned, complex number is a combination of real number and an imaginary number. So what is an imaginary number, guys? Do you know imaginary numbers? As I've mentioned, the square root of -1, which is not acceptable in mathematical terms, right? So such numbers, we take it as a complex number, which is I. We present it as iota. Anyone in the chat box? Yeah, cool. I'm being decimal. Cool, guys. Super. So let's just ra- dive into the coding part itself. So to know about what type of variable it is, like is it integer, is it a float or a complex, we use type function here. Okay, as Rahul mentioned about the functions, built-in functions, type is one of the built-in method by which we could know the type of it. So what type of it is? So jump into the coding. I'll be using the collab notebook. So let's take a random variable x equal to 20, and let's print the type of it. Print type of x. It's very pretty basic. Okay, so it will give us a class integer. Let's take any decimal kind of thing. Okay, let's take, okay, 3.14 itself. Okay, 33.15. Print type of y. So what would we get? See, float. So floating points are nothing but decimals. So anything which has a point and a fractional part, we call it as a floating point numbers. Now let's just directly jump into the complex numbers. Okay, z. Okay, what are the complex number? 1 plus 3i or something. We just take 3i or 3j. Print z. Okay, so what are we getting? Oops, sorry, I'm just printing this. Let's take the type of z. See, it is a complex number. So this is how you could define the class of a numeric data types. Okay, so type is a built-in function. Now my question to you guys is, let's take a random variable c equal to 1.0. Yeah, print type of a. So what will be the output, guys? Okay, tell me what will be the output now. Okay, as you can see here, a equal to 1.1.0, and what will be the type? Will it be integer, floating, or complex number? Quick, float. Yeah, cool, super. Yes, guys. Yeah, you are correct. It is a floating point number. So anything, see, this computer is dumb. No, sorry, Python interpreter is kind of dumb. I know 1.0 is nothing but 1, but still it assumes because you have a point in it. So that's why it assumes as a floating point number. So let's take another variable like, b equal to 0.0. Now print type of b. So what would it be now? Floating or integer? Again, float, super. Let's see. Yeah, that's how it is. So it will just interpret because of the pointing value it present here. Now let's take another experiment. This is I'm doing now only. Okay, I don't know what answer would it give. 1.1 plus let's say 3i. Okay, 2i, so whatever. Print c. Sorry, type of c. So now what is the output, guys? What are you thinking? What are your guesses? Tell me. Float again, someone complex. Okay, what about others? Complex. Okay, let's see. I'm not guessing anything because I don't want to go wrong. Yeah, you could see here invalid decimal literal. So it only considers uh, the floating point because see here it gets the confusion between the string concatenation as well. So you can't really add something decimal and floating point numbers as like that. As such, only you can add real part numbers. Okay. Oops, what's the issue? Okay. Yeah, guys. Right. Now moving on to the next part. Uh, so these are the examples of integers. We have positive, we are very long numbers. We have negative numbers as well. Okay. Now moving on to the next, floating values. As I mentioned, these are all the possible examples of it. Okay, which are basically decimals. Next, let's move on to the complex numbers. We have 5j, 3 plus 5j, 5j minus 5j. So these are all the complex numbers, which includes real part as well as the imaginary part with the iota value, which is the under square root of -1. Now, here are the quick exercises, guys. Just give me the answers in the chat box. So a equal to 5.0, what is the type of p? Yeah, tell me this answer. Okay, this question is for you guys. Oops, that's it. Okay, let me just type here. Okay, what's the two into I? Ah, yeah, I missed it. Yeah, thank you, Bhavyashri. You're right. Just two into I. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Two into I. Yeah. Oops. See. So this is the issue, guys. So, Bhavya, as you have seen here, I it assumes it as a floating point. Sorry, it assumes I as a variable. So you can't really do that. So here now you can see here that it is a invalid decimal literal as it mentioned. So the syntax error here is it is getting confused between uh, I and j. So iota values are confused in here. I hope you got what I'm trying to explain. Okay. Yeah. Now let's go into directly into the type conversions. Let's say sometimes you don't need the fractional part. So let's say if someone asks about the age in the registration form, you say it's 20, you don't say it like my age is 21.5 or 26.5. It is invalid, right? So we need to, at some cases we need to convert such numbers. So by for that, there are two ways to convert it. One is using the arithmetic operations. Let's say you have a number 5. Now you want to convert it into decimal. You can directly do some operations like 5 by 2. 5 by 2 gives something like 2.5, which is a floating point number, right? So which gives a floating type. And now you can also use this operator. This will give directly convert the floating numbers into an integer as well. Let's just do this. Yeah. Okay. x x equal to 5. 5. Now y equal to x floating 5. Print y and also print type of y. Yeah. See guys, as you could see here. Okay, I've divided 5 with 5. Okay, let's do this. Yeah. See, as you could see here, actually the division of 5 by 2 is 2.5, right? So this operator gives the float division like that, which produces which converts it to 2.5 into 2, which ultimately gives you the integer class. Okay, that's how this operator works. In this scenario you can use this double operator as well. Now moving on to another thing, you have another built-in functions, as I mentioned, like integer, floating, complex, etc. Now let's take something like, let's say, let's take a okay, let's take a random variable v, integer of 5.6, 55.6. Okay, okay, let's take a, okay, just a minute guys. Let's take a variable 5.6 v and u as integer of b. Okay, print u. Now we'll print u. So what are your guesses guys? So what will be the value of 5.6 now? What are your guesses? Tell me in the chat box. 555. Okay, let's see now. Yeah, you're right guys. So the it will convert the floating point numbers into an integer. So this is how you can use these are you use such kind of applications while dealing with the registrations forms and all, while you make a website or anything. Okay, such types of logics are encouraged during such cases. And now, so in the similar cases we can use float of x, int. So these built-in functions are useful for conversion of the data types. So I'm not going deeper into it because these are pretty straightforward. Now let's go into the math module. So to make your life easier, instead of just calculating or using some other, using some logics, you have some separate math module in which you can use all the different math operations as well. See, now you could see here, this import math is used to import the math module in our interface. And now you can see here, if you want to do any functionalities, math dot square root of 64. Okay, so this will give the square root of 64. Okay, so there are a lot of built-in functions in math module, which I'll be showing you in a few minutes. But let's just do some basic importing stuff. Okay, let's do. Okay, here in this interface the importing stuff doesn't work in collab notes. Not an issue guys, but so there are a lot of built-in functions in math modules. So this is, square root is one of its kind. And also we have minimum and maximum functions, which is used to find the lowest and highest values. Now moving on to the examples, let's say here we have x, 5, 10 and 15. Hmm. So now if you want to print the maximum value in this within this you can use max function. So here it so for the first case it will print 5, and for the second case it would print 25. That's how it works, guys. Let's move into the absolute value. Do you guys have idea about what absolute values is? Hmm? Do you know about it? Okay, no worries. Absolute value is nothing but it would give the same value irrespective of its sign. If you have -4, it would give it as 4. So that's how it works. So you don't have to be tensed about it. So these are the important functions, guys. Maths.ceil, math.floor. Okay. So math.ceil, it nothing but it. If you take a floating value like 1.4, it would return something like 2. And if for a floor division, just now I mentioned about two operations like slash, two slashes one. Here is same is the case. So for 1.4, it would display as 1. Now see here you could see. So mat ceil rounds the number to its nearest integer. So if you take here, if you take 1.4, it would display you as a 2. And for floor division, it would round the number downwards, that is below its nearest integer, which is if you take 1.4, it would display as 1. So that's how it is. So don't get confused on mat.ceil and mat.floor. Okay. Now moving on to the math functions. These are all the different functions you need to memorize. Like these are the important. These would be enough as per your exam is concerned. See, as Rahul mentioned about GCD, you can directly use this inbuilt function instead of using all that. But you need to understand the logic, right? That's why you need to do the logic stuff, as well as you need to know some of the inbuilt functions to make your life easier. So here, math dot square root, you could do square root of a number. You can take for POW, you can give the power of the values. So permutations, GCD, floor, sale. So I'll be sharing it in the group itself. You can refer it out. Okay. So here are some more functions here, exponential functions, which we can return some of the exponent like e to the power of, if you say exponent of a, it gives like e to the power of a. So such kind of functions we can also perform. We can also perform logarithmic function. It's basically like a calculator. This works as a calculator also. So these are all the important stuffs you can refer. Let's directly jump into the random numbers, guys. So what do you know about random? Random is nothing but, do you guys play Ludo or any other snakes and ladder in online, like in online games? It would you can roll the dice digitally, right? So how it is generated? Yeah, it is generated using a random module. So after importing the random module, you can generate any random number using random function. So this random function will generate the any numbers. Like let's say for dice, this is the logic, guys. So it would give a certain set of list like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now using the random dot choice function. So this is a built-in function again, through which we can display such certain values. Okay, like any of the random value it could give according to it. So now here it's another case using the characters. Like if you take a string striver, now you can choose any of the letter from it randomly. It picks any, this random function picks any of the letter with its own choice and gives a specific character on accordingly. It's his wish. Okay, it's pretty random. It doesn't have any logic. It is random. You can't even guess what kind of number it gives or what kind of character it gives. That's how the random uh, thing works. And finally moving, so these are the important random functions. So here the random dot random function returns a random numbers which are floating point numbers within 0.1, sorry, 0.0 to 1. So it can give 0.23, 0.5, 0.56, or any other values between this range, and random dot rand in it. So we can set for rolling of rice you can give the limit like 1 to 7. So between the range 1 to 6, okay, between this range it gives the random number what you have mentioned. So these are all the basic functionalities, okay, basic built-in functions which you would like to as far as your exam is concerned. You don't have to refer all the built-in functions. This would be enough. Yeah, that's it, guys. I don't want you to drag this session. Okay, it's already 5:30. Let's move on to the quiz. Uh, yeah, Vishwas, you can take it from here.
Okay, Ajay, give me a confirmation whether I'm audible.
Yeah, you are audible.
Mhm. Okay, guys, it's been 2.5 hours and you are still here, which means that you are really interested and anticipated to learn new things. That's really appreciable. Okay, before starting the quiz of the day, actually, yesterday quiz, everyone did perform really well. So we are expecting same performance in today's quiz as well. Uh, Before sharing today's quiz link, I want to give an instruction. You need to please enroll with your registration number only. Don't put in the name or whatever. Just give your registration number. I hope the instructions were clear.
Okay, Vishwas, 1 minute before you start. Yesterday, we have seen top performers also using their personal name instead of registration number. Yesterday, it was the first day, so we considered it. From today, we will not be considering it. So please use only registration number for logging in. And another thing, guys, whenever you write quiz answers, please keep in mind that quiz questions sometimes indeed intentionally made tricky. That's because we want you people to think before you answer. Or even after you knowing that your answer is wrong, we want you to think why it's wrong. So please think and write. Even after writing, please think why your answer is correct or wrong. Okay? Don't have to worry about the marks. You will if even if you are getting today you are having around 12 questions. Okay? Even if you are getting 8 marks in your quiz today, you will be writing your FAT exam well. Okay, don't worry. Vishwas will be sharing a quiz link in chat box. Please join. Only use registration number, no names. I want you people to look the question twice before answering because they are intentionally made tricky. There is nothing to fear, but it's just a caution. And Vishwas, once you start the quiz, please let them know.
Yeah, sure. As I see 60 registrations, 20 more. Please join first.
Quick, guys, because snacks are waiting down. Hope you get something good to eat. Vishwas, share the code they're asking for.
Okay.
Pin it in the chat box. $491131 is the code for today's quiz. 491131. It's in the chat box. Oh, so sorry to hear you're having dry Maggie and snacks. Then this class is better than that. So you people don't have to rush. You can stay back here and write your quiz in leisure time. We'll be closing the quiz after 6 minutes because there are 12 questions. Vishwas, did you start the quiz or you're waiting for people to join?
Yeah, I'll start in 1 minute.
Okay. People, please do join. And after completing your quiz, please scan the QR and give feedback. This feedback will be considered for your attendance and for our improvement for the next events. Code of the quiz is 491131. Please sign in using only college ID. Please do not use your personal one because we don't know who is smiley123@gmail.com.
Okay, guys, the quiz is live now. You can start.
We see only 88 people writing quiz. Other people, please try writing it. And please, when you're done, please try filling the feedback form. We get to hear different problems. Like people have now not attended it, but the system says that they have attempted it. Nice. Oh my god. Another person with the same problem. Vishwas, please check this. Like, is it because they have written yesterday's quiz or something?
No, actually, that may rise if they enter the registration number and if they come back again. Actually, the issue rises.
Okay.
They should not return to the home page when they after entering into the quiz.
I guess he answered your question. You can ask doubts from the quiz also, if you want to really. Those ranks, please don't mind them because you got 8th rank because everyone did not submit it. But even then, congratulations, you're in 8th position as of now. QR is not opening. Let me try. No, I can see that QR is open. Like, please use your university mail or university account for opening it. Sri Sant, what do you want to say by 12 questions? You are letting me know how many questions were asked or something. Don't worry, I'm the one who prepared it, so I know it's 12 questions.
If you are not able to attend the quiz, try to log in using another email ID so that you'll get a chance to attempt it. But ensure you
Yeah,
give your registration number while going into the quiz.
but please don't, everyone don't do that. That's not a loophole. If
So we
you're
are
doing
going to
that,
end it
people,
by 5:46 itself, actually.
so you're getting extra 2 to 3 minutes. And you have feedback form link in the chat box as well. If you're not able to scan it, please do use that link. If we get to see registration number twice, we'll be eliminating that person. The people who are saying like they did not write and they're writing it now, it's fine for them. But people who are using it twice to get more marks, your old result will also be nullified. Last 1 minute, guys. Code is 491131. I don't know how many questions you'll be able to write it now. I guess it's time to end the quiz. Okay. People, anyone having doubts in quiz? Before that, please do fill the feedback form. It will be considered for your attendance and also for your certificate issuing. And please try following us on Insta to know your results as well as to know the information about further events. Please scan that on the screen to get information. People who are having doubts, please stay back for 2 more minutes. And you can also follow us on our LinkedIn. Please share your certificates on LinkedIn and please tag us. How many people will get certificates? What do you mean by certificates? Merit certificates or participation one? As of participation certificates, it will be issued to everyone who have attended and who have given feedback. And whereas merit certificates, it will be given to the people who have performed well in the quizzes. It's mostly 3 members, top 3 people. Hope I'm clear. Okay. 7442. Like, what's the doubt there? What was the answer? Satyansh Vatsa. It's showing error. Yes, error is the correct answer. My voice is so low. Okay, let me change earphone. Is it fine now? Okay, what's your answer in VS Code? Okay. Okay, if it's really showing answer, we'll check back. And if it's really